Good day all. Happy Vlogmas. Day 5, I believe. We have our severe high tide again, of course. Can you hear the soft lapping of the waves on the stones? When the beach gets so obliterated like this by the tide, it makes a different song. Because all these small shells, the way they play on that and the little pebbles on the shore, it has such a different sound to when the tide is out further and it's rushing through the seagrass. So for today's simple little vlogmas, I figured we'd walk on the dock at high tide. Alright, let's head out. Now if it were a few hours earlier, I'd have to walk in the low field here that skirts the beach, because you can see the tide was straight up to the edge, but it's just starting to recede now, so that's allowing me to walk on the edge of the field and shore. Oh, I love these conch shell egg cases. These are always a good treasure, and usually if you open them up you'll find all the little shells inside. Let's see if I can do that. I think it needs to dry out a bit more, but inside each of these is usually a myriad of tiny little shells. But isn't the structure beautiful just as it is? I've tried many of these out. And I'm not sure if you can hear. Today the chickens have really been having a cacophony of sound. I think it's because today has been so warm. Oh, it feels like spring today. It truly feels like spring today. But I can't be too hopeful for spring. It isn't even January yet. And it hasn't even been Christmas yet. But I do love the dock at high tide. As I said, if I had gone out a bit earlier, but it would have been too dark for me to film. But the dock would be almost, it just goes to the very edge on extreme tides, almost coming through. And on a very extreme full moon tide, the very end of the dock will get just, the water will just breast the top of it. I also love the song of the shells in the salt hay. And here, can you hear how the sound has changed? Because now we've reached an area where it's mainly hitting just the dead seagrass, which is becoming salt hay. And of course, the song of my boots on the shells and the sand. I guess I'm sort of enjoying my daily vlogmases. It's odd because obviously I can only get so much filmed and edited in one day because I also have to do artwork and everything else in my house. Oh, here's some deer hoof prints, because of course the deer would have been down here enjoying little delicacies early in the morning. Let's stop and look. All the little buoy markers for the summer sailboats sitting idle this time of year. The sun beating on the sea, thinking it's April, not December. And look, Treasure Island is almost completely under the sea. Just the tufts of grass on the top, but all the soft sand that in an August day you can sink your toes into is now under the cold winter sea. So hopefully you can see right here how close the water line is to the dock. As we're having the severe tides for the next few days, I wanted to make sure I got one little vlogmas from the docks. Can you see how close it is? And again, I'm lucky in my varied view because we have the sea, the sandy shore, tree-lined, tall, deciduous trees, field, and of course the old stone wall that once lined the outer gardens of one of the big houses which no longer stands. And the junipers dotted in the field leading up to the hill. And a pair of terns pass, wondering if it's December or April. While our blue heron, who's managed to somehow stay around here, he should be enjoying today. I hope we have a mild winter for his sake anyway. Though I do like snow on Christmas Day. And as you see, we get closer. Here the shore is quite under the sea, so I'll have to go up into the field here. But you can see here in the field, this salte here is because at the highest tide, this is how high the sea was. That's why at the very end, on a tide such as this, the dock can get covered for a few hours. The grass is so green and lush in here. Now look how close the sea is to the edge. And here's another song. Wellies on wooden staves. And see how high the fishermen boat set and their clever floating dock, which they need because you can't always rely on a stationary dock to tie your boat to. But look how high their floating dock sits. And their little shellfish shacks sitting quietly, though they will be working again soon. They work through most of the season. Hard worker lot, those shell fishermen. And looking back, look at the sun on the sea and how close the water sits. Now we're at a summer day. This is a wonderful day to use the dock for swimming. You just glide right in. It's like having a natural swimming pool. It's so close to the edge. And of course the water is deep, deep now. So there's all sorts of fishes and jellyfish and wonderful things to look at through goggles. So today's little vlogmas. A walk to the dock at high tide. Treasure Island, like a buried treasure now. Empty houses, dreaming of summer guests. Boathouses locked up tight with their gleaming sailboats and motorboats, waiting to be untarped. And the oyster cages quietly growing their delicious contents. A lovely Vlogmas day. Well, thank you for joining me for today's short little vlog, a walk to the dock at high tide, and I hope you're having a lovely Christmas season. Until tomorrow, happy Christmas season, and cheers. And remember, of course, stay creative,